Hello everyone. We are in another series in our AI in Trades podcast. Today, Brandon is with me. Welcome, Brandon.
Good morning. Thank you.
Brandon is the owner of AdvantaClean. Can you tell about your company and yourself, Brandon?
Yes, sir. AdvantaClean, the company's been around since 1990. This location's been here for approximately 15 years. We service the greater Charlotte metro area. Anything within a 90-mile radius of Charlotte is where our service area would be. We're a full service restoration company, water, fire, mold, repairs. And then you asked a little bit about me. I'm 36 years old, been in restoration since 2012. For the last 8 years, I've been operations manager, general manager for other companies. We decided in March to take a leap of faith and own company.
Oh, that's great. So I think you also have another company, like a consulting company.
Yeah, indeed. So B Networking and Consulting is another company that I manage. We've been open for about 2.5 years now. As I was kind of going through my day-to-day in my previous roles, I realized that I have a lot of expertise and knowledge that I can share and help other companies. I didn't want to just limit myself to the employer that I was working with. So I started my own company. I have several small businesses that I work with to help them grow and scale. We assist them with processes, day-to-day operations, putting systems in place, marketing, anything that they need to help grow their business is where we kind of step in and assist.
Yeah, you've been in this business for a long time, but you decided to become an owner. How did you start? How did you actually decide to become an owner in this business?
So I got into restoration. It was just my calling, I guess. God knew before I did. I went to college in 2012. I had a job already lined up. So the day I graduated, I went back to work for the people I had worked with every summer for the last 4 years. I was doing hauling on semis. We were making deliveries. When I got a call one day randomly from a recruiter, offered me more money and a career path. And I was like, yeah, sure. Got me out of the conditions, put me into an office and paid me more money. And so I just ran with it and continued to grow throughout the industry. I started off doing insurance claims and did that for about 5 years, and then spent the last 7 or 8 years doing as an operations manager. The exposure I had in my previous companies, the owners I worked with were extremely great to me. They taught me a lot and they exposed me to a lot. I was reading, and then just really understanding how a business operates and runs. Run it for a while, having some success in it. I had 3 successful tenures with different restorations companies where I was able to help grow each of them by 2 to 3 million at each location. And after I did it the second time, I was like, I might be onto something. And then the third, I was like, all right, I got to do this for myself. I had a child a year ago, and everybody says when you have a child, it kind of motivates you and pushes you in a different way. And I'm always like, no, I'm motivated, but they are right. It definitely just kind of kicked me into a different gear. And so I started looking at different opportunities to acquire a company versus doing a startup. And then kind of stumbled across this opportunity here in Charlotte. This is a location where my wife and I both agreed when we first started dating that if we were going to move somewhere, this would be the place that we both agreed on. So it just kind of all perfectly aligned for me.
Oh, yeah, that's great. And also, can you tell about the restoration world? So, how's your day-to-day life over there? So, midnight calls. It's not a regular business for everybody.
Not at all. Yeah, our industry is not for everyone at all. I'm just doing some interviews with some guys and I was trying to explain that to them. But it depends on what type of restoration company you want to be, first off. Some people don't want to do 24/7 and things like that, but that's the industry. Basically, anytime a homeowner has a situation where an emergency situation, it can be a plumbing situation. We do a lot of biohazards. You get those calls in the middle of the night. I mean, emergencies don't work on your schedule. They're not coming to you at a time that's convenient. When you get those heavy rains, sometimes out here we don't have as many basements, but basements, some pumps will start backing up, roofs will start leaking, crawl spaces start flooding. If you get a burst pipe, it can be 12 o'clock at night, it can be 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever. There's plenty of times we've gone out to dinner, and as soon as we sit down to order, my phone rings and I'm taking my food to go. It's just a day in the life. But yeah, 24/7 is definitely life, the
Yeah,
commitment.
very demanding.
As far as management, the best thing is just having systems in place. When you have systems and processes and good people around you that are trained and qualified, capable of making decisions, that's how I'm able to manage both companies.
Yeah, so in our previous meeting, you told me that you are using and leveraging AI in lots of areas. Where did you start building AI and how did it go? And now, what's your current status in the AI?
Yeah, so this is something I recently jumped full-fledged into. I'm the type of person when I go into something, I go. There's no two step. I don't put my foot in the water and test it first. I just jump in. And so I've been hearing about it for the last 2 years, and people have been telling me some of the different things that they're doing. And I'm just like, oh, okay, okay, okay. And finally, I went to this seminar. I try to go to continuing education seminars and things like that to
Mm.
listen to speakers every couple of months. And I was at one of the ones that I went to. It's called the Black Wealth Summit. They do it in DC every year. I was up there and they had Alicia Little come in and she spoke to us about AI and kind of how she was utilizing it in her business. And I was mind blown. And I spent the rest of my afternoon and every session I went to after that. I couldn't stop thinking about the session I just sat through before. So I walked out, I signed up for the classes, and I've just been going full force with it for the last couple of months. We're utilizing it in our business primarily on our marketing side. We're able to create agents who take care of all of our blogging for us. They post to our pages, they come up with creative content ideas. We have one
Mm.
agent who goes out and does research for what's going on in the industry, and they'll send us a report over the last 10 days in the industry. This is what's going on. This is how it's affecting the multifamily housing community. This is how it's affecting residential communities. And then based off of those reports, how then can we create content that's meaningful and educational that can be posted on our platforms? And so AI is taking care of all of that for us. Obviously, there's still a lot of review and training and coaching that goes into it. But as
Mm.
we kind of get the processes refined and get those systems in place, it's going to be a game changer for our business and save us a lot of money on the marketing side.
You also told me that you are like, creating animation version of yourself. How does this animations work for you? How is it better than the regular digital ads or flyers?
Yeah, so the world's changing. I mean, everything's
Mm.
shifting to digital, and the old marketing where you just see a flyer or a business ad, they're expired. So we're trying to just bring a little bit more life and interaction to our social media sites. We want to be able to reach an audience that is older, but we also want to be able to communicate and reach the audience that's younger because eventually they're going to be stepping into the workforce. They're going to be the consumers who are buying and owning houses and things like that. So
Mm.
you just have to be able to transition with it. And that's our goal is to be able to reach an audience no matter what the age is. And so with the animations and cartoon clips we have myself, I've got my ops manager, my whole team. We're creating cartoon animated characters of them. We have scripts and things like that. And we just have fun with it. We're kicking around an idea right now, trying to figure out the scripting on it, where we actually show what an emergency service call looks like. The call
Mm.
comes, it'll start with me at the house at the dinner table. The phone call comes in from the ops man. We got this going on. All right, let's get everybody mobilized. And it's like a little 30, 40-second clip and just kind of shows what the day in the life is. I
Mm.
think just by having a little bit more fun with it, and the goal is just something that people can interact with. And what we're starting to see with one of the AI agents, their role is data and analytics. Everything that we're posting, they're running reports on it and seeing which posts and which blogs and things like that are getting the most interaction and most activity. So we'll know obviously what to post more of and what to do less of. So it's just something right now we're exploring and getting started with. But I think as we kind of build it, refine it, get the analytics and things, I think it's going to be big for us.
Yeah, that's super cool. And you also told me that you are creating an organization chart with agents, one for analytics, one for HR. And so how's your team reacting to this or new organization chart?
They loved it. And I'll have to email a copy of it to you when we get done. Yeah, they absolutely loved it. I used a Marvel comic book theme with it. And so, because everybody always says they don't like, how do you operate? How do you go so fast all the time? How are you always doing stuff? And everybody always tells me I'm like some superhero with a cape. Thought it would be a good play and a good joke on it to kind of do everybody as a superhero. And so we have a Marvel theme to it. And I was able to take pictures of the guys and put them in. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so when they seen it for the first time, they loved it. I think for me, the biggest part of the org chart is as you're telling people the vision, it's not easy for everyone to always see. But when you have visual representations that go along with everything that I'm saying, it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And so when they seen the org chart, the excitement in the room was pretty cool to be a part of. And then as I start talking to them about the different animations and the cartoons and everyone's consent, I thought we may have a couple of people who were like, nah, I don't want to be a part. Nah, man, everybody was all in and excited to have their animation and their character out there. So it's been pretty cool to get that type of feedback and excitement from the staff.
Yeah, I'm also excited, so please send it to me too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So, what's your AI stack? Everybody's using ChatGPT or Cloud, but I'm just curious about, okay, what are you doing differently and how are you using them differently?
Yeah, we use multiple of them: ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Manus, Base 44, CapCut. There are several of them that we use. What we're finding is all of them are able to do the same thing, but some of them are just better. And so as we're building agents, we build them in the platform that is best for that specific particular service. So for example, Perplexity is great with doing research and citing
Mm.
sources and things like that. So the agent that we create that I want to send me a report every 10 days, breaking down what's going on in the industry, I'm going to create that agent in Perplexity. For my HR and all my documentation and things like that, Claude has been incredible with putting together spreadsheets and stuff for me. So the
Mhm.
HR agent we create in Claude. Manus is like a super agent where you bring everything together. And so it's just understanding and playing with the different platforms. Some of my team, they have other ones that they love. I have to get Laquan on. He is the expert on all that stuff. He was just sending me some stuff yesterday he wanted to try out. And so, I mean, every month he's coming up with a new one saying, hey, let's try this one. And sometimes, like Manus, we gave it a shot. He wasn't a big fan of it in the beginning, but about 3 days ago, he calls me and was like, this is the one. It's a trial, and then you just figure out which one works best for you in the application that you're using it for.
You told me that you're also documenting and scripting everything in the company while you are operating and managing it and just using that information to create a consulting business. And so you also told me that, okay, better price for better marketing. So can you just tell about what you're offering in the consulting business and how it is better than the other regular marketing?
Indeed. Again, being in the restoration space and doing the consulting, I interact with, and I go to a lot of different seminars. I'm interacting with small business owners every day. The couple of services that I'm finding that across the board, most people are paying for: bookkeeping and accounting services, and everyone's paying for marketing. When it comes to marketing, everybody's getting the same thing. When I compare myself to other restoration companies, everybody's posting ads about duct cleaning. There's only so much information you can put out there, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so the prices that everyone is paying, I've heard as low as 650. I've heard as high as 1700. And so that's kind of the range that most small businesses are in. Just depends on what you're getting. What they're not getting, any of them, is the animations, the cartoon characters, the more live interactions with them. Most companies that you're paying for marketing are not interacting with your customers on your Facebook page or your social sites for you. And so that's one of the things that our company does differently. We give you a different type of content. We still utilize the old flyers and things like that. Obviously, you still want to have pictures of your actual work and your crews and things like that. But we're just giving a whole different approach to it as far as the animations and the content. And the second part of it is our marketing team with my company, we actually interact with your clients on your page. Laquan, every couple of hours or throughout the week, he's going to spend several hours with each one of our companies that we work for. He goes onto their Facebook page and he'll like a post that somebody posted. He'll reshare something that someone posted. He'll comment, hey, congratulations, great job. And that type of interaction is what most marketing companies aren't giving their clients. They're posting stuff for you, but they're not interacting with people and they're not posting content that people are excited about. So that's kind of what separates us from other marketing companies. We're going to find an approach that works directly for your company. We're going to create content directly for you. It's going to be educational. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interactive. To interact with the people from your sites. And that's what drives activity on your page. And then when people go search for you, you're showing up at the top of the algorithms in Google because of that type of activity.
Got it. Well, that's a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
S- So on the customer side, they are also using AI and AI. Yeah, some of them also building AI agents too. And I hear about that some business owners they complain about that their leads are just actually plumbing. So what do you think about that? Because they are paying for the ads and other things and they're paying for the leads, but now the customers just ask to ChatGPT or Cloud or Gemini. So what do you think, is the AI killing the leads in this industry, or do you think that they're using it wrongly?
Yeah, AI is not killing leads at all. Laquan would be so upset with me for not mentioning Gemini as one of the platforms that he uses. No, AI is not killing the leads. AI is a tool. That's what I always
Mhm.
tell. It's a tool that has to be utilized. And so if someone goes into ChatGPT, if they go into Gemini, wherever they go into, that search engine itself is not producing the answer for you. They're going somewhere else to look at different content, and then they're coming back with you and saying, based off of everything I just looked at, here's my answer. What I would tell those folks and what we focus on with my consulting and networking company is We want to make sure that you're well represented in the places that ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini are going to look. So let's make sure that your website, there's a list of certain things that we want to have on your website. And we go down, and if they're not there, we're improving your
Mm.
website. You want to make sure that your Google business page has certain things on it, certain keywords. You want to make sure that your reviews are consistent. And when you put all of those things together, that's the marketing approach. That's where the leads come from. And so when folks say, oh, AI is ruining leads, it's not. AI is being more thorough about qualifying your company. And you have been thorough in advertising your company, then when AI goes in to look at it, it'll bring back favorable results for you.
That's actually great and very insightful because yeah, AI is also not random information, so they want to just bring the exact information. So that makes so much sense. So you also told me that you are comparing AI with just horses and automobiles, but it will not happen in 30s, but in 10 years. So well, why do you think that it's gonna be faster?
Yeah, that's not my analogy. I don't want to take credit for that.
Okay.
One
But
of my seminars I was sitting in, and it was an analogy that they used, and I loved it. So I definitely want to credit Mr. John O'Brien for that. But essentially, what he was explaining is we've seen AI is completely changing the world, and we've seen this
mm,
before. And the comparison that he used was when automobiles came in. Everything was horse and buggy. That's how you did your farming. It was transportation. It was everything. Then all of a sudden, the automobile comes along, and horses become obsolete. That change was inevitable, and it took 20, 30 years to happen. This change that's coming is inevitable. And the point that he was making is it's not going to take 30 years to happen. AI is so intelligent, it's upgrading and improving itself every day. Where it was at this time last year to where it is today is head and shoulders above. Last year, you were punching information in and it was still thinking. Now you're giving it information and it's taking action. I jumped into Claude yesterday. Hey, I need a spreadsheet for vehicle inventory. I don't have to prompt it and say anything else. And it says, okay, it starts calculating, well, you're in the restoration industry. This is what you do. This is what you'll need. Da, 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 da. And then it puts together a spreadsheet. So that type of evolution wasn't there last year. And 6 months from now, it's going to be on to something else. I just seen they're going to be releasing in 2027 the robots that come into your house and can clean and stuff. And so it's
yeah. Yeah, and also you are using so much AI, and but you also have a line. So you told me that you're not just putting AI agents on your call center. And why do you think that people need a human touch?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I get so annoyed when I call somebody and I'm talking to AI and it's press one for this and do this. And I could have been on and off this phone already if I was just talking to a person. And so a part of it is just my personal annoyances with talking to AI. But the
Mm,
other part of it is what AI lacks and does not have is emotion.
mhm.
And in our industry, we're dealing with people who every time they call me, they're not having a good day. So don't say, how's your day going? Because it's bad. AI doesn't have that emotion. And so I don't want someone emotionless talking to customers at one of their most difficult times. I want someone who understands and has empathy communicating in that role. And so for me personally, we'll utilize AI as a tool, but that's a role that I
Mm.
don't foresee utilizing in our company.
Yeah, and the other thing now we were talking about actually the security. So you're also concerned about the security of the AI, and so what do you think about that?
Yeah, anytime you're communicating with something or someone more intelligent than you, AI is 9 times out of 10 going to be more intelligent than whoever they're communicating with, at least in my instance, it is.
Hmm.
Um, it's concerning. I've seen people where AI's in their QuickBooks, it's doing this, it's doing that. I have concerns with just handing it access like that. So there's
Mm.
certain information about our company's finances. I don't want it to have access to all my passwords, certain things that I'm uncomfortable with it having access to because it's so much smarter than me. And at some point, it's going to decide to start acting on its own intentions versus my instructions. And when it starts going off of its own intentions, I don't want a lot of my personal information on there.
So you don't want AI to just actually keep your bookkeeping, but you want to use it for analytics after that, right? How do you keep that discipline for you and also for the people inside the company because they are also exposed to AI tools and other things? How do you manage security layer?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's something we're building as we go. And for me, the answer to it is just education. Make sure that I'm educating myself. And that's why one of the reports that one of my AI agents runs for me is what's going on in AI. Give me an update every 7 to 10 days on what's changing, what government policies, and how all of that is coming together. Right now, there's no government policy on AI. And so it's foreign for everyone, but just trying to stay ahead of educating everyone, making sure that we have cutoffs and parameters in place. If this is what we utilize it for, this is where it cuts off and the human has to take over is the best that we can do for now.
Yeah, got it. So let's switch to the other part. For example, one of the things that when I was talking to other leaders that they are saying 80% of their leads are coming from technicians. But you push back hard on that one. You told me that none of your leads came from technicians. And how do you generate leads and how's the AI role in this in your business?
Yeah. And anybody that has a technician generating leads for them, that gentleman needs a promotion. And so if you're not promoting your tech who's generating leads for you, I'm going to promote your tech that's generating leads for you. So don't let me find a technician out there that generates leads. We work on a referral basis. And what I mean referrals, like not necessarily where I'm paying for referrals, but we just build relationships with different centers of influence. And so we have a lot of plumbers that we have relationships with. We have a lot of HVAC companies we have relationships with, and we reciprocate. I went out on a job yesterday. The diffuser in the shower is leaking, and so we're going to be ripping out the shower. We're going to be ripping out the drywall, but she doesn't have a plumber yet. She wants the whole thing turnkey to where we're coming in, plumber comes in, repairs comes, and we're in and out of there in 4 days. And so for the sense of the customer not having to interact with 3 different companies, she doesn't have to write multiple checks. It's just easy for her. So I'm able to call a plumber that I refer work to and say, hey, I've got a job over here. We're going to be starting it on Monday. It'll be opened up ready for you on Tuesday. I need you to have it done on Tuesday so that on Wednesday and Thursday I can do the drywall. And that type of relationship and just reciprocating work back and forth is where we start at with our business development and with our leads. There's different platforms you can go. We actually just created a Thumbtack account that we're kind of working through over the last few days. So there's a lot of different ways to generate leads, but the most productive, most fruitful that I found over my time in the industry is just getting relationships and having consistent referral partners. And when you have multiple referral partners who can send you work every month, it makes all the difference. And ultimately, when you go to sell your company, that's what I tell everyone through my consulting company is when you go to sell your company, people want to buy a book of business. They don't want to just see that you've made money. They want to know that when they take the company, they can make money. And so showing all the money that you've made over the last 10 years, but without explaining to me buying the company, how I'm going to be able to sustain that going forward, that's where your real value is. And so that's what we focus on is getting our reviews, making sure that we have good referral partners, making sure that we're getting work with our referral partners, and just making sure that we're top of mind for them. And you have to be resourceful for people. You know, I had a trailer right now that I'm trying to get fixed, and I took in there and they charged me $3,000 to fix the trailer, and it's not done yet. And then they tell me to go buy the hinges somewhere else, and it's like I came here to have a problem resolved, not walk out of here with a to-do item. And so that's what I
Yes.
try to make sure that I'm always doing for all of my referral partners and anybody that I work with is just be reliable, be consistent, and be useful. And when you're convenient and useful, that's where your leads come from. It takes time to build. I've got 3 organizations right now that they'll tell you when I left, the work continued to flow because of the system that we built.
Yeah, that's very nice and very sustainable. You are actually using many AI tools in your life and business. And for example, newcomers, where should they start? The first thing they should do in their business using AI.
They should reach out to B&B Networking and Consulting, and they should fill out my intake form, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah.
The first thing I would recommend doing is just utilizing it. Pick one of the apps if you're not familiar with it at all. If you haven't done anything with it, the number one thing is figuring out where your bottlenecks are in your company. And so that's what the intake form is about. The intake form that we send out to all of our new clients, it's just a little questionnaire. It takes them about 5 to 7 minutes to complete. It helps me identify how your company functions now. So that's the first thing you have to do is understand how your company functions, who does what, and then through identifying that, you should be able to identify where your bottlenecks are. Once you know where your bottlenecks are, then the next step is, well, which AI is best to assist me with this particular bottleneck? So that's what I would tell them to start is filling out my intake form so they can determine where the bottlenecks are.
Yeah. And how can people find you? What's your website or what's the best way and easiest way to reach out to you?
bnbnetworkingconsulting.com. If they go onto the website, they can contact us there. There's a section on there they can click and it'll have the intake form and everything. Once that gets filled out, my team will reach out to them, either myself or Miss Leslie. They reach out to them, discuss the intake form with them. We do an initial intake call. And then from there, we have the information we need. We'll put together a package for them and say, this is what we can do and how we'll help your business.
Thank you. So we're coming to the end of our podcast. So before leaving, do you have something to add or just any advice or expectations for the AI?
No, I appreciate the time today and giving me the opportunity to talk about some of the things that we're doing in our business and promote. When it comes to AI, the biggest thing I would tell you is be cautious and try to protect yourself because at some point it's going to advance and you want to get into it, but you don't want to get too far into it to the point where you don't understand. Start taking incremental steps to utilize it in your day-to-day within your life, but until you've educated yourself on it, don't just give it full access to everything. That would be my advice to everyone.
Okay, and thank you. So now we can just say goodbye, but before going, we also as Pika, we are the data platform. We'll integrate all your data sources, including the tools that you are using like Service Titan. And thanks for joining and listening today. Thanks, Brandon.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.